I'm Dan Rosenberg,
And I'm TJ Perrin.
and we're excited to welcome you to 11 Minutes with Octane 11, a B2B marketing podcast. This is a chance to talk with experts in B2B marketing about the real challenges in this complicated space and solutions for solving them in just 11 minutes. Because no one has time to listen to long form podcasts, least of all B2B marketers who are using more tools than ever and are under more pressure than ever to deliver breakthrough messaging and business impact. Today, we're super excited to be talking with Dan Mott, co-founder of marketingops.com and a social selling expert for solopreneurs. Dan has also recently kicked off the Manifest a Million Challenge, which I'm super curious about, but we only have 11 minutes and that's not a lot of time. So let's just jump right into it. First, Dan, please tell us a little bit about your background, what you're working on these days, and what's getting you excited.
Yeah, I think you hit that on the head. Thank you both for having me. Super excited to dive into it. Marketingops.com. I'm a social selling expert for solopreneurs. Like you said, Manifest a Million Challenge is my number one target for this year. And I also run a nerdy D&D networking group for entrepreneurs on LinkedIn. I think the thread that really ties them all together is really relationships, right? Like, how do you leverage the power of your network and the ability to collaborate and communicate with others? I think is really the most impactful tool. And throughout this, that's really the message I thread everything with. So I'm sure we'll unpack that quite a bit more.
Awesome. So those things that you're working on, but in no particular order. The D&D mentioned last, but maybe it's first. I don't know.
It's first in my heart. Yes.
Nice. So what are the biggest challenges you've seen in B2B marketing and go-to-market motions overall?
It's the power of relationships. It's the power of really community and conversations. It's less tactical. It's just like, how do you tap into those partnerships, those connections, those conversations that you have? That's really where the real power in marketing comes from. It is the feedback loop that you create with your market that informs you on how to build better products and services, how to better market those products and services back to the market, right? It's really kind of the engine. And having, as marketers, especially in this day and age where there are over 13,000 different SaaS tools out there, we get so caught up in the tools and the technology and automating all of these processes that I definitely encourage people to take a step back and just put your head in the conversation, like, right, get in front of people, have conversations, because that's where I personally have learned the most. And that's what I try to teach in every way that I can.
Awesome. As a member of the Marketing Ops Slack channel, that resonates with me. A lot of marketing ops people, I feel like, get trapped in a silo as maybe the only person in the org. So having a resource to go to, a community to go to with other people to network and talk about what you're working on is huge. So
yeah. And that's 100% why we started it, right? Marketing ops can get to be a very lonely place if you're not like in an enterprise level organization. So having other people that you can bounce ideas off of, tap into as a resource is incredible. And that's part of the reason why we're doing it.
Yeah, awesome. What are the best tools, tactics, vendors, or campaigns you've seen?
I'd straight into collaborations, right? Like just really emphasizing the power of this. Like I have a personal goal of doing 100 collaborations this year. And it's really great because like it hits all the three things for me, right? It's the conversations, it's getting to know you guys personally, it's getting to create content together. It's so much. It's the conversation, the content, and the community. It touches kind of everything that really is required to just get that feedback, create those relationships, and really just put yourself out there. And it's really powerful.
I'm curious, are there any tools that you use to manage your community engagements or your collaborations with other folks?
Yeah, I always look at it at different levels, right? So like when I look at my solo practice, it's a completely different animal than looking at an organization like marketingops.com. When you get at the higher tiers, it definitely requires a lot more. But for my own solo practice, it's super easy, right? I'm very simplistic in nature. I like to keep things clean, cut, dry. I'm very much a minimalist, but as you climb, you need more and more tools just to be able to manage your internal team, to manage your community, to make sure that everyone's adhering to all the rules and things like that. So there's definitely a lot, but I think I could go through and name them, but I know we've only got 11 minutes. So I'll keep it to, we cycle through tools. We are always willing to try new things and see what's going to work and replace something if we think it's going to be better. But as much as possible, we try and cut out the noise as much as we can, because again, there is over 13,000 tools out there, and a lot of them are trying to be everything for everyone. So how do we just kind of stick to the things that we know are going to work for us now and into the future? As we continue to scale, that's kind of the important part.
That's true. 13,000 plus, but the pace of additions is actually slowing. There were like a skyrocket, but there are more, but the pace is slowing, which I think is a good thing for the environment and the ecosystem.
Yeah. And we're starting to see a lot of mergers and acquisitions. So
Yeah.
we're starting to see them pull together, which is helping to reduce the amount of tools that are out there.
Yeah. And that's, by the way, that's one of the core concepts for Octane 11 is how do you connect the dots across all these different tools so you get a unified view, unified data set, and the ability to leverage them to the most extent possible.
And that's always like the toughest part too. So I'm super grateful for having you guys around, and everyone else is doing the same.
That's our job. What would you say is one thing that everyone gets wrong in B2B marketing?
I think the thing that most people are getting wrong in B2B marketing is really message market fit. And I think that this stems from really the level of disconnect. As I mentioned, we're relying on a lot of automation and workflows to automate the experience for people, which I think is incredibly important because that does scale and it does create more of a customized experience for people. And we can do a lot of market research in that process. But again, really having those one-on-one conversations, being able to talk to customers, get their feedback, iterate on that, and continue to improve, you really do need to be like hands-on, boots on the ground to be able to really get that insight. Because you can ask those questions, but it really takes diving into those questions deep, right? Like asking the follow-up question, the follow-up question, the follow-up question that gets you to the real answer. So I think it's that, right? It's really that message market fit surrounded by the problem of the fact that we're too reliant on technology to give us the information we need.
If you had one wish for a tool or capability for B2B marketers, what would that be?
So I would say for all the tools to stop trying to be everything for everyone. I find that you get a really great scrappy startup and they're hyper focused on solving one particular challenge. And that really helps them skyrocket as an organization to get the dedicated user base that they need to create their own micro community of users who are collaborating and working together and answering each other's questions and providing feedback to the company to make it better. And then naturally, there comes this point in the growth of an organization where you need to scale and diversify. And then you start adding, you start becoming like a CRM and a data warehouse, right? Like you start trying to do too much. And you see it over and over again. And I love to see more companies stay focused on their bread and butter and what they're really good at.
Yeah.
Because again, there's so many tools out there, right? Like I'm gonna end up using connecting another tool who's gonna have the expertise in the thing that gets me to that next step.
Yeah, I think that's a great one. Companies that limit the challenges they're trying to solve for, I think often end up outperforming the alternatives offered by larger MarTech companies. Some that come to mind like Clearbit, Lean Data, Outreach, SalesLoft, they end up as great integrations into platforms like Marketo or HubSpot, Salesforce.
What would you say is one recent win you've had in B2B marketing or just in life?
So I'll lean more towards the life category on this. Definitely is the Manifest a Million challenge. This challenge that I set for myself at the beginning of this year to manifest $1 million working for myself in 2024. And we're officially through Q1 now. And I can say that I'm a very far way off in terms of the number on my profit and loss statement. However, I will say that my mindset has completely shifted. I am a completely different person than I was 3 months ago, or even 3 weeks ago, or even 3 days ago at this point. I am growing at such a significant rate, and not just in terms of me being a business owner, but as a leader, as a father, as a husband, as a friend, just in general, putting that emphasis and hard work and dedication into building my mindset has really laid the work for my future. And it's so cool because this is really just a test for me, right? I was looking for kind of something to challenge myself with. I got super into manifestation. I went through this personal brand identity crisis all through Q4 of last year, discovered way more than what I was looking for. And to me, it's just like, what are our limiting beliefs and how can we break those? And how can we become a little bit crazy to be able to pull off some crazy things?
I love that. And what's the way you're measuring the Manifest a Million?
So I am measuring it through my profit and loss statement for my solo practice, SIX3MEDIA. Essentially, my goal is to have the actual revenue generated by the end of the year to be $1 million. So I publish this through a newsletter. I do it Sunday through Thursday night. I've already done like 60. So it'll probably be about 250 editions by the end of the year. And then at the end of each month, so actually tonight I will go do it because it's the first of the month. I will post a kind of a recap on the past month. How much have I made financially? I get very transparent in this as well. So how much I've made, how I break it out by category and different types of products or services that I offer, what my progress has been over the past month, and then how my game plan has changed as a result and where my focus will be on the next month.
How that. I think it's great. I'm excited to follow that. I'm excited for our listeners to follow that too, and maybe become clients and help push that top line to get you to that million as quickly as possible. Well, like I said, 11 minutes, it goes by super fast. So we're keeping it brief, but I learned a lot. I hope you did too, and everyone listening did too. Just a couple of things we talked about around community and the power of collaboration, maybe even more important than tools. Really, the importance of getting that message market fit, where you're just asking another question and another question and another question, which unfortunately we didn't have enough time to do today in 11 minutes, but we asked some high level questions, but it's great to get down to the core of it. For tools, stop trying to be everything for everyone and just focus in on the main thing and excellence in that one thing and just do it great. And then, of course, hearing a little bit about the Manifest a Million Challenge and excited to follow that. So anyway, really excited that you were able to join us. Thank you so much. And we've got a great lineup of B2B marketers and marketing experts up on tap. So check out more episodes at octane11.com or wherever you get your podcasts. And thanks for listening.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me, guys.